Yeah, hi, and welcome back to Sahara TV. We have live on the phone, via phone. This is a telephone conversation we're having with Nelson Mandela's former bodyguard and personal chauffeur. His name is Marcus Griebelaar, and he's actually on the phone in Cape Town, South Africa. Marcus, how are you? And welcome to Sahara TV.
I'm good from here and yourself.
Good, good. So, Marcus, I know that we obviously reached out to you because we wanted to find out, following the death of Madiba, to find out how he was as a human being. And you were his shadow for 12 years. And I know that you were a former police officer in the South African Police Force, and you had been a police officer for 24 years. And when Nelson Mandela came out of prison in 1990, 1994, he became the president, and you volunteered to be his personal bodyguard. How was it when you first met him?
Yeah, it was. I'm from the old police, and the guys from the ANC, the MK guys, we amalgamated, and they asked, like, Mandela needs a permanent driver. So I volunteered because for me it was going to be like a challenge
Right.
to drivers. Excuse me?
And so obviously you volunteered, and when they picked you up, that must have been an exciting moment for you because your life changed. You're obviously going to be dealing with the president, the first black president of free South Africa. How did that make you feel?
For me, it was just like an honor to drive and a privilege to drive this man around and to have been his personal driver. It was like awesome. And the first time when he got into the car at the morning,
Right.
and I greeted him, and he greeted me, and I said, "Mr. President, my name is Marcus, and I will be your driver." So he said, "Marcus, pleased to meet you. Let's drive."
Okay. Now, President Mandela had a humorous side to him, and he was always very witty, very jovial, very joking. And I'm thinking, you are you speak Afrikaans, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so what language did you guys used to speak to each other?
We,
I said, what go ahead.
he was a people's person. So whenever you speak Afrikaans or English, and you respond in that language.
Okay.
And one thing that I've learned about this president was when someone is in the company that doesn't understand Kausa or any other language, you tell that person to speak English.
Okay.
Especially when we were in the car and I was driving.
Okay.
So he was like a people's person, yeah.
Okay, and I know you traveled the world with him, and obviously you've been here to New York. You told me that you stayed obviously in the Plaza Hotel overlooking the Central Park, and you've been,
Okay.
yeah, and you met all sorts of celebrities, all sorts of presidents and politicians around the world. How did he treat you as his personal bodyguard who's always with him?
With Mr. Mandela, he always put the other people first because he don't want to be in the limelight. So
Right.
wherever excuse me?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, wherever we went to, you always, even if like, say, Gaddafi got into the car or whoever, you introduce me and say to Mr. Gaddafi, "This is Marcus. Meet Marcus, my driver, and then we'll meet." And he was just one kind of a person.
Okay. And I know that most of these Christmases you spent them in Kunu because you used to go with him, obviously, when he went to spend his time with his family. And the family obviously knew you. So how was it when you were with his family and you were working?
The family, they knows me quite well because even like Mandela and Daba and Buso and Andile, when I went to Kulu first, they were very small, and we communicate very well with each other, and I could interact with them, and it was just like we were just like a big family basically.
Okay. Now, when it came to doing your job, Mandela was a people's person, and he always used to do how he felt at that moment. You know, he would decide to go out for a walk, talk to anybody. How was it for you to make sure that you're protecting his life? Because he used to make direct contact with strangers. How did it make you feel?
For us as security, working with Mr. Mandela around in shopping centers and on the farm in Kulu or wherever, it was basically a challenge for us because he always said to us, guys, you do your work and I do my work. So even in any situation, you go in hostile situations, you just, and we advise to him and say, Mr. President, it's a bit risky to go in here. Then Mr. Mandela would say, guys, I've got a job to do here, and you do your job, and that's the story.
Yeah, because I remember some time after he came out of prison and then he just had become the president, South Africa was going through black on black violence in the townships. And there are moments where he insisted on visiting those scenes and talking to the people that had been injured. There's footage, on the internet. Were you part of that security detail when he used to visit these kind of neighborhoods?
Yeah, because I was the driver, and when we went into the townships and places like that,
right.
I always stay in the car and keep the car idling, and we'll keep him next to the car, and in case something happened, then we'll drive him out. I was actually with him about 24/7, you can say.
Okay. Now, I also know that in 1995, you had a baby sometime in February. You had a baby, I think February the 5th. And then on February the 10th, 5 days after you had your daughter Megan, he came to your house and spent time with your family. How did that make you feel?
Yeah, on the 10th of February, 1996, we were on our way to Belleville. Mm-hmm. It's a suburb in the northern of Cape Town, northern side of Cape Town.
Right.
And Mr. President asked me, Marcus, how's your family? And I said to him, very well, Mr. President. My wife and my baby is coming out of hospital today. And my baby was born on the 5th of February, and this was on the 10th. So he said to me, Marcus, if I'm finished with this meeting here in Belleville, mm-hmm. I want to go see your baby.
Right.
And that's how we ended up at my house.
And that's a famous picture where he's standing with your wife, holding your baby, and somebody else on the side. Now, Megan has grown, and I see on the video that she's speaking. And did you get an opportunity to introduce Megan to Mr. Mandela while she was a big girl?
Yeah, when she was about 5 years old or 6 years old, Mr. Mandela organized for his security. I think that time we were only 5 securities with him because he stepped down and he organized a lunch with the security and our families in Bishop's Court.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
that's where my children got to know Mr. Mandela.
Okay. Now, do you have any experiences that you like to share that you particularly hold to heart, that you remember, that you'd like to share with us? Some.
Yeah, I still think about Mandela.
Hmm.
Like I said, I was at the beach this morning. I went to the beach, and I was sitting there and watching the waves and the birds, and thinking of Kunu, because tomorrow is his funeral,
Right.
and I was supposed to go there, but unfortunately, they stole my car.
Yeah,
That was
you told me about that earlier, and we're very sorry. How did this happen? Because obviously you were attending a memorial, and there was security there, and your car got stolen.
Yeah, it was last Sunday. We had like a memorial service at church for Mr. Mandela, and me and my family we went there, and when the church was up, and when I went to where I last parked my car, the car was gone,
Wow.
and the space was empty. I was just, it
Okay.
was, yeah, I was just dumbstruck, and I couldn't believe it. Why my car of all these other cars that standing there?
And I know you're obviously questioning yourself, why now, when you have all this very important event
That,
to attend to? So I'm hoping that anybody listening will probably step in to assist you in that direction, because you are one of those people that put your life in line to take care of such an important man. Now, I'm going to ask you another question. I'm going
okay.
to, yeah. So, is there anything that Mandela used to do that people don't know most about? I know in the video you mentioned that there were moments when he read the paper and he would look towards Robben Island's direction and for a moment just stare quietly, and you never
Yeah.
knew what he was thinking. But are there any other moments of certain things that he used to do that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, there was a lot of things that I experienced with Mandela, or Mr. President. I used to call him Mr. President all the time,
Right.
and I think it's basically personal things that I went through with him, and yeah, experience with him, and I actually want to put that in book form. I want to write a book,
Right.
and I want to tell the people, especially the youth, in the book what kind of person Mr. President Mandela was, and all my interactions with him, and memories of his life, of my life with Mandela.
Okay. So meeting Mandela, what changed in your life? Because South Africa had gone through such a difficult time where people had been classified, you understand, segregated. So coming out of prison, he's the first democratically elected, first black president. How did that touch your life personally, as Marcus?
I was a guy that was not into politics when I was at school or even in the police.
Right.
But when I first started working with Mr. President Mandela, he actually changed my mind and views of certain things,
Right.
and especially just the way he was with people, and the way that, I mean, a man comes out of prison for after 27 years,
Right.
and he shake the hand of the people that put him into prison. It really touched me, and just like a normal person.
Okay. Now you were there when he visited. I think it was Mrs. One of the former apartheid South Africa's president's wives, I think, in Port Elizabeth. I can't remember her name right now. But were you part of uh, those moments when he visited? I know he also met the prosecutor during his Rivonia trial, and he also had some of his prison guards that used to take care of him, in fact, watch him actually in Robben Island. Were you part of that experience to see him interact and talk to these people?
No, no, I wasn't. Well, I wasn't involved in.
Okay. Now, going forth, what is the legacy that Nelson Mandela leaves for you and for the rest of South Africa, and also your daughter, Megan? What's the legacy? What's the lesson that Mandela gives?
I think Mandela's legacy must start now. Only, actually, must start now because we must live up to his legacy and like uh, respecting people, listen to people, and just what Mandela did, we must just live up to that. I think that's the most important thing. We must forgive and stuff like that.
Right. Marcus, thank you very much for joining us on Sahara TV, and we hope that somebody is going to step in to make sure that you get transport to go and see the final journey that Nelson Mandela is going to walk. And this is, his burial tomorrow in Kunu. I know it's 12 hours away, and if you had your vehicle, you say to me you were going to be driving there right now. But we appreciate the time that you've taken off your schedule, and we're also with you in prayers. Right now, what are you doing? Do you have a job or?
Excuse me?
I said, are you working after working?
No, I don't have a permanent work. I do freelance. I'm just living like an ordinary guy from day to day, looking for jobs. But a guy with my experience that don't have a job, I don't know. To be honest with you, I would love to have a permanent job again,
Right.
and sustain my family. That's all.
Okay. No, we wish you success, and we wish you obviously the best things. But thank you very much again for coming on to Sahara TV, and stay on the line. We're going to talk to you. Stay tuned. That was Marcus Griebelaar calling directly from Cape Town. He was Nelson Mandela's personal bodyguard and also chauffeur for 12 years since 1995 when he became president. We'll be right back.